So welcome back everyone. In this lesson we're going to look at building accuracy on the quarter, eighth and 16th notes that we've looked at in the previous lessons. You can see from the intro demonstration there that we're combining those three types of rhythms as we pass through a 4-bar strumming pattern. I'm going to use a mix of muting the chord, like a staccato, which means short, sharp, sometimes quite loud, but we're also doing some letting the chord ringing out as well. So on the 16th, you saw me just strumming the chord as normal, without applying any muting technique in the fretting hand there. So let's break it down then. Let's have a look at the different strumming patterns, the different requirements of the strumming hand. But first of all, we're going to look at the chord that we're going to be using. So inspired by quite a few James Brown funk tunes, we're going to look at a 9 chord, an E9 chord. Sounds really funky on its own, especially when we start putting in those more complex strumming patterns. So first of all then, I'd like you to take your middle finger and we're going to go to the 7th fret of the A string. Then we're going to take the index finger and that is the 6th fret of the D string. Then our ring finger is going to mute the G, B and E strings on the 7th fret. And we're going to try and mute the E string. I know we could put the thick E string into this chord. It would provide us with quite a nice bass note there, but it doesn't give us that control over the muting of the chord because that string's going to ring out. So I'm just going to mute that with the top of my middle finger, or I could use my thumb if I wrap it round the fretboard there. But as long as that thick E isn't ringing out, you're doing it correctly. So it might take a little bit of time, and as always with bar chords, we can take that shape all the way up the fretboard, taking our root from the A string. So because the 7th fret of the A string produces an E, if I build that chord on the 7th fret of the A string, that's going to give me an E9 chord. Same if I went to the 3rd fret of the A string there, that would give me a C note, and that would give me therefore a C9 chord. One more example, we could have D flat, which would be on the 4th fret of the A string. So that would therefore be a D flat 9 chord. Anyway, you get the idea. We're building it on the 7th fret, so it's an E9 chord. And the first thing we're going to do is learn how to do that staccato strumming, where we're strumming short, sharp chord. We're going to release the tension on the fretting hand, and it'll give us that muted sound. You can hear the reverb of the guitar that I'm applying to the guitar track. That's ringing on, but the strings themselves are muted dead. So I'm strumming the chord, releasing tension, and muting the strings. Pressing down for the chord, releasing here when I want the chord to stop ringing. Same with the 8th notes, though they're 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rhythm. Strumming each one, but just after each strum I'm releasing tension on the fretting hand, and that gives me that staccato sound. So crotchet rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8th, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But then for the 16ths, which are of course the focus for this module, 16th strumming, we're going to let the chord ring out. And that's a mixture of down and up strums, as we covered before. The example started off with an 8th note strumming pattern, all down strums, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then it went into a bar of 16ths. It became quite simple for the 3rd bar as we use a crotchet rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then to finish off, the 4th bar of this strumming pattern is 16th notes. All together. Although it doesn't sound very musical, you almost definitely wouldn't be using this strumming pattern in a performance or when you're learning a song. It's more of a technical exercise. It's just getting you to blend these rhythms together, combining them, shifting between them quickly. So the first part of the example at the start of the video had that strumming pattern, then I stopped for 1 bar and then I played the strumming pattern again. And then just towards the end, I think I gave a 2 bar break. And then at the end of that example, I played the strumming pattern through twice. So just showing you that you can loop that strumming pattern without needing to take a break. So let's have a listen to the example one more time. I'll give you some tips on how you might be able to play this strumming pattern with better accuracy. So something that I want you to focus on is the metronome click itself. So really try to listen into the metronome click, really trying to focus on that tempo and making sure that the strumming patterns that you're playing are perfectly in time. Again, we can stomp our feet along with it. Usually it's your dominant foot that taps along, usually, not always, but typically. Some people nod their heads, but if we focus in on that metronome click, we can really focus on keeping better time. You can slow it down, you don't have to play it as quickly as I'm playing it in these examples and in this lesson, but the more you do it, the better your movements through these strumming patterns will be. You'll be able to move from 8ths into 16ths, into a crotchet rhythm, 1, 2, back into 16ths. So good luck with that, guys. Watch the lesson back if you need to and just really try to focus in on that metronome click, making sure that your timing is very good.